I don't care if people hate on me. Like, I want to be that person that kind of steps into that, so that way the path is free for every other content creator to come and do it. That's like a big goal of mine, because I want it to be easier for the younger generation, the younger audience. And like, I have so many different young girls that I mentor that they're kind of like my own kids too. Man, I really don't need kids at this point. But as far as advice goes, I think it's just, don't take what people say to you behind a computer screen seriously at all, behind their phone. It's all just, it comes from a place of insecurity and jealousy at the end of the day. Like, someone is so low in their life and so hateful in their life that they feel the need to share that information. Like, it's an industry that it takes a lot of strength and courage and motivation to do, and that any woman can really do it if they just set their mind to it, and that they don't take information from the outside noise.
Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-Topic. Off-Topic is a show where we talk to content creators, entrepreneurs, and business owners and allow them a platform for them to talk about what they do. In this podcast, we have Lacey Jane Brown. She is an influencer in the sports industry who talks about NFL, NBA, MLS, anything you could think of. She recently broke the world record for going to 32 games in an NFL span, via that being Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. Lacey also creates content on TikTok, Instagram, where she has amassed a following of over 800,000 followers on all these platforms. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-Topic. I'm with Carlos, with Lacey. Super excited to do this one. Thank you again for coming out here to us, and we're obviously shooting in a different location. It's different spot, but different vibes, trying to up the game this year and elevate stuff. But yeah, just super excited to get you on the podcast. We met at Mike's Cleat Delivery with Xavier, which isn't out yet, but whenever it comes out, make sure you guys go check that out. Boot Up Customs or Get Like Mike, that is the homie over there. But yeah, it's super inspiring. Not only when I met you, but just your story of like how you became a full-time content creator, especially in the realm of like football, very male-dominated industry, and just wanted to hear all about it and, just kind of hear your story and what you've done to get you here. So, yeah.
I appreciate you taking time out your day. As always, you're the first guest of the new year, and the first guest in the new place.
Yes.
Woo! So you're the first. So welcome. Like he said, super excited to like hear your story. He sent me he sent both of us kind of like I guess your achievements, you could say, of like everything you've done. I was like, damn, she's done a lot. Yeah. And like last year was like crazy for you. So I was like, okay. But again, thank you taking time out your day. But just give us a little backstory where you came from and to how you got what you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, I'm excited to be here. It's super exciting.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm ready for just to hear everything you guys have to ask me. Very excited for that.
Heck yeah.
But I'm out of Kansas, based from there. I came from a small town. I had 12 kids in my graduating class, 54 out of my high school. I'd say in high school, I was more quiet. I wasn't like a cool kid. I was just very much so to myself. I had a really bad injury whenever I was in high school that like I couldn't play really the cool sports, which would be like volleyball or basketball. So I just ran, which I ran pretty well. So that got me to college. And then in college, I kind of like grew in love with football. I was going to every single game. I was doing social media there. And I went to school at Kansas State University, which I would say isn't really like a powerhouse college program, but it's still a solid college football program.
Yeah, thorn in our side.
Thorn in our side too. I'm a Texas fan, so I know them all too well. They're not, like you said, they're not a powerhouse, but they're a team that plays like just team football and solid football. So they're gonna, in my opinion, they're gonna compete with anyone.
Yeah, they're really good at like a 9-10 win perennial type team yearly.
Yeah.
They like know that they're not the best, so they just know how to like play to their strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what they do against them, really us too, but them
especially
is
us.
Yeah.
He's an Oklahoma fan, and they just like
Y'all have had our number the last
They'll
couple
hold
of
the ball.
years, no doubt.
They'll hold the ball as
Yeah.
long as they can and try to score, and then there goes 8 minutes off the clock. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
here we are. That's how their football games go. But sorry, continue.
Yeah. No. So, so I just fell in love with the sport there. And I actually graduated college early. And my journey in college was kind of more so just to get in, get out, because I really was focused on my career. And I just had really high achievements and goals whenever I was in college. Like, I told myself that I was going to be a CEO of a company. Like, I didn't know what company, I didn't know what I was going to do, I didn't know what industry, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to find that industry. So after I graduated, I went to Cornell and I got just a digital marketing certificate. And then I ended up working at Nike headquarters. And then that was fun. Like, their headquarters are beautiful. There's so much on campus. Like, they have a track that's like in the forest. That's really cool. And just their headquarters are beautiful. You're out in Oregon, which is kind of interesting, I would say. But still, like, you have professional athletes that come in and view the employee store, which is like, it's cool because, like, you'll have LeBron James there, you'll have Serena Williams, you'll have just like all these really awesome athletes that you like view as GOATs. So that was cool. That didn't last for long. Got laid off during COVID. And then I was like, what do I do? Like, I'm literally here. Like, I can't get a job because on the West Coast, I would say that within Texas or within like the Midwest, there were more opportunities to get jobs during COVID. But on the West Coast, they're just kind of, they have different rules and regulations that everything was just shut down. So getting a job there was nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Like, nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I literally got rejected from probably 150 jobs.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Midwest and like South. We know why, but they didn't care.
It's crazy. I went out to California during COVID, and like you were saying, like, you couldn't even order a burrito without like waiting for it outside. It was a completely different world over there.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that.
What was it about Kansas State that got you into football? Like, knowing they're not like a big score, like they're not like we haven't been we haven't been the best, but like Texas or Oklahoma, Alabama, someone like with a high atmosphere, knowing that's not there. How did you get into football?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty funny. Kind of whenever I chose Kansas State just because of, like, it was in Kansas. That was my my siblings that went to K-State, so it was just kind of like natural to go. But as far as kind of the football program that excited me was Bill Snyder was the coach when I was there. And I worked at a nursing home because at the time I was on this journey that I was like, oh, I kind of like want to be like a business lady in the medical field. Like, I want to like own like a hospital. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I was getting hours in as a CNA because I was like, what all do I need to do? So I was working as a CNA. And whenever I was a CNA at this nursing home, Bill Snyder would be a frequent visitor because his best friend was in the nursing home. And I was his like CNA. So I got this really close friendship, I would say, with Bill Snyder that kind of like made me, I already loved football. I grew up and I loved football, but it got me closer to it because he's such an iconic coach and he's such like a nice, compassionate, loving guy. I remember I have a family member that was battling cancer for 13 years ongoing now. And he like wrote him like this little, it was like a K-State football book, but he like wrote this long page just like to my nephew for me to like give to him. Like he would just go out of his way. And so that made me like feel like, hey, I need to pay extra attention to K-State football. Like, I want to be there for every moment for him because he's such a caring and compassionate guy. So that kind of like led me into it. And then just like when you're there at games and you're experiencing the love, the compassion that all these fans have for their team, there's just really nothing that can describe it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of going to games because we both love college football, so it's just like there's so many good games on. But every once in a while, I'll go to a game. I went to a game last year. His girlfriend's a big UT fan. They have season tickets, so sometimes I'm like, hey, we know somebody has extra tickets. Do you want to go? I'm like, sure, I'll go. I went to the BYU game last year, but like you said, there's just nothing like being there, like being in the atmosphere. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, but no, definitely understand that. Like, once you get into the content realm of all that, and going to these games, did you first start shooting content at these games because you said you did social media, or was it more like for like an internship or like just for the school, or was it just like self for you?
Yeah, it was just for an internship. So it was just with K-State. Like they would bring on students to do sports internships for just social media. So that was more so what it was. And then when I was also in college, I had one with Roy Williams, who KU basketball, former KU basketball, then it was North Carolina. So that to me was so cool because I was out in Chapel Hill, like just on campus, and I was like, wow, like I really do want to be involved in the sports world, but I don't really know how to. So my degree was actually not even like in sports because at K-State there really wasn't anything you could do that was like sports related. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I feel like working in sports, like it doesn't matter like what your degree is. Like
once you're talented enough, like I feel like you can learn all the skills that require.
And then once you're in, you're in.
And it's evolving too. And like you said, once you're in too. So I guess fast forward back to when you get laid off COVID and you are, looking for jobs, you search for jobs, you apply to 150 jobs or whatever the number was, and you can't find anything. What was like your thought process then for work and stuff? Because the world had shut down. There was so much going on. Like he's very into video games and stuff like that. Like Twitch streamers were blowing up because everyone was at home watching content. Obviously, you had like people like Drewski and stuff making skits on like TikTok and Instagram, and like his career was obviously blown up from there. So was that like an inspiration for you to start recording content, or did you have like another game plan that kind of got you into what you're doing?
Yeah, no, definitely it was. I would always have friends that told me like, you need to make a TikTok. Like you need to make a TikTok. You need to just like talk about yourself. Like you need to just do that. Like you're so funny. And so I started off on TikTok like doing skits, like sports skits, like me in weird outfits, just like doing like comedy skits. And I was doing that for like a year. And then I decided to like show my voice and talk about like stories and things like that revolving the athlete. And then that's when I like hit my niche and I like kind of like blew up from that. So that was definitely a time, but I mean, man, I was not getting any money. Like I was literally Instacart delivery girl. I mean, hey, I'm proud to do that. I was a soccer coach for these little kids. Like I didn't even play soccer in my life.
Hustling.
I was just like all these, I literally was babysitting dogs. I'm allergic to dogs and I had all these dogs like in my crib, just like making me like dead from allergies, but I was like, gotta get the money somehow because TikTok isn't paying it.
Yeah.
And I remember just telling my parents because they're like, what are you doing? Like, you're clear over there. Like, we're in Kansas. Like, what's social media? Like, they don't really understand what I do to this day. So especially then, they're like, you're literally like Instacart, dog sitter, like soccer coach. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, it just, I continuously did that for a year, and then I would say my first big opportunity that I got was with AT&T. It was a brand deal. So they brought me out to the Final Four, and that was the year that UNC was there. It was Duke. It was Coach K's last game, which was really cool. KU, and gosh, I can't remember the other team, but it was a blue blood school.
Was that the year Nova won?
I'm trying to think. That
was the year Nova went, right?
KU won, but I think
that was the year
probably,
KU beat North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think Nova was the
Nova was the fourth.
was
one.
the fourth. I
Yeah.
think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember it was all Blue Bloods, and I was like, wow, this is like a dream Final Four. And
Dealing with
Coach
all those
K's.
Kansas fans too, though.
Yes. That's why I loved it. I was
Yeah.
like, I am in love. Like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, and that was such a cool opportunity. Like, the fact that they paid me to go, they also paid for this hotel room in NOLA. They paid for all my tickets. They got me a phone because that was part of the brand deal, was to shoot like the game footage on the phone. So I had like an extra phone, and it was just a really cool opportunity. And that's what I was like, wow, I can actually like do this. Like, I need to like do this, like take it seriously.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that I really focused heavily on that, but I still didn't go full time for quite a while. Probably like, oh my gosh, probably like a year. I didn't go full time until like a year later, just because like you're still at that point only making money on brand deals. So say you only get one brand deal in a month, then you get another brand deal like 5 months later. It's like not sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. With stuff like that, do you try to be like on a retainer as much as you can, or is it just once it's done, it's done?
Usually once it's done, it's done. And I'd say that a reason why I don't really do any of the retainer deals is just because I've worked with a variety of different, especially like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. Like, I've worked with a couple of them, and typically if I were to just stick with one, then it's like I'm just stuck with them, and I might not be able to get the competitive edge that the other ones will offer me.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay, so like little one-offs is probably like what you're shooting for specifically.
Yeah.
Just like do this for a couple times, and then we can part ways, and then maybe work again in the future type deal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So you talking about obviously wanting to take it full time and stuff like that, getting that AT&T call, and then taking full advantage of the opportunity, learning and stuff like that. I feel like for the most part, most people might just be content with something like that. What was like the next step for you after knowing that this is actually a tangible thing? Like, I can make this a reality. Like, what was your preparation to roll into something full time?
Yeah, I would say that. So when I was there with AT&T, I was interviewing. I interviewed Bill Walton. I also interviewed Dr. J. And I remember, like, he told me, he was like, hey, Lacey, like, I just want to let you know, like, here's my personal phone number. You are very talented and very gifted. Because before the interview, I just wanted to genuinely, like, know who he was. Like, I know he has like so many achievements and accomplishments, but I was like, I just want to know like who you are as a person and hear your story. And he like told me about his son passing and like just all this stuff. Like, it was really like heartfelt. And so when he told me that, like, he's a retired Hall of Famer, like when he told me that, I was like, oh wow, like this guy must know. So that kind of really inspired me to be like, okay, like I do need to take this seriously. And I had a couple different talent agencies that were also like big time agencies that reached out to me, and they saw what I was doing. And so they as well were like kind of pushing me and made me realize that I can go somewhere and can do something about this. So I would say that I was just really grinding, getting content out there in order to go full time. Like, I was posting 4 to 5 videos a day.
Wow.
And they're not just like normal videos that just like of yourself. Like, I had green screen. I had
B-roll, all that.
Exactly. Like they're like intense videos that I just like constantly was doing. I was working from 6 a.m. to about 11 p.m. every day.
Wow.
Didn't sleep much, never went out, never socialized with anyone. I was just very, very focused on my career and things like that. And so I just kind of went into a little hole and just did my work for like 6 months, and it ended up paying off and working for me. I know that for some it doesn't work out that way, but it did for me.
So I'm assuming all the filming, you did all that yourself?
Yes.
how'd you like learn to do all that? Because it's not easy just to pick up. I mean, even an iPhone camera, it's not easy just to pick up a camera and record and like know what angles to get and what B-roll to use, even to go out and get a green screen. I mean, most people don't even think of doing that. So like, where did all that knowledge just come from? And like, let me make the best video I can without it being like the same or it being too wild.
Yeah. I would say just YouTube. I was just constantly looking at YouTube, like tons of YouTube videos and just trial and error, like so many failures. I think that I was able to really smooth out my process and do stuff a lot more efficiently towards the end. Because in the beginning, I swear, like doing a video took me like hours.
Worst. Yeah, and then you also just have no direction to go with it, and then you too, like, I'm sure you're a perfectionist too, like just from hearing your story. So it's like you're like, oh, I don't like that, or restart.
Yeah,
or
that's what I was
scrap
gonna
it
ask.
over.
Like,
And
I'm sure you filmed like a lot of videos, and I mean, you worked from 6 a.m. to 11, so I'm assuming there's a lot of videos that are filmed in between that. So like, how do you go about like picking which ones you want to put out?
Yeah. I think it just kind of like depends on what the story is that I'm wanting to uncover. At least for kind of like what I do now, or are you talking more so
Back then, like, cause
back
you,
then? Yeah, back then I would say that it was just stories that were really popular that I wanted to cover. It wasn't like breaking news stories, because like you have ESPN for that. You have, sports channels that are already covering that.
Yeah.
For me, it was stories like, for one, talking about how Lamar Jackson opened up a restaurant in his hometown in Florida and was like constantly back there. Like, it's like stories around athletes that aren't necessarily just shown out to the public. Like, it's stuff you have to like really dig for.
yeah, because I didn't even know that he opened up a restaurant until now. So no, like that is like more interesting, because like you said, we have like a sports channel and stuff and do stuff like that, and it definitely does feel redundant when you're covering something that Fox, ESPN, or even like these other people, like we like college football, so like Josh Pate, those guys, they're doing it full time. They're covering the same stuff you're covering. So like you said, for you to know, let me go tap into a niche that people are going to be more interested to hear. Like that's just super genius, especially at the beginning of making content, because it is hard to figure out what you want to do, because you could see other content, you could see other videos pop off, and a lot of stuff's like pretty replicated. It's like, this video did well, so I'm gonna do something the exact same or very similar. But to hear that, it's like, no, I'm gonna take it in my own way, and like it worked out for you, and it's paying off now. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you, I guess, go about being like a full time? Did you like have a manager and like they reached out to your manager of these different agencies and you just kind of picked the best one, or was it you are your manager and you just picked the best agency that fit you if you even went with an agency?
Yeah, I did. So for me, kind of the journey was, I was originally with a different agency. I have a management team. So my management team is like, they're kind of like my mom and dad. Like they literally just guide me in so many ways. I'm so thankful for them. But as far as like the agency goes, yeah, I've had like sit down interviews with them. I was with one before that's a really great agency, but they have some clients that are like a lot bigger scale than I am, like Will Ferrell, they have Alex Earl, like a lot of big names. So obviously they're crazy busy with them. So I kind of get left on the burner. So it just didn't work out. But still, they're an amazing agency. So I went, I'm currently with CAA Sports, and they are a very good agency so far. I know I have like the same manager as Aaron Andrews, so I'm really excited to kind of see where that helps me. I just signed with them, so obviously there's not a ton of like, well, thank
awesome.
you, but there's not a ton of like history that I can share that I've done with them, because I haven't,
It's still dope because it's, for one, she's an icon in the sports
She
world.
is.
For two, she's an icon with women. So that agency is already working with a woman. So it just helps you because like, oh, I'm next up. So let's see what they can do for me, or like what ideas that we can run with that maybe Aaron can't do, but you can do.
Yeah,
that's dope.
exactly.
Was this the same agency that got you like the deal for last year with all the traveling for football, or no?
No, so that was actually just brought in by myself.
Nice.
So that
Okay.
was a lot of the brand deals that I get are actually just like brought in through like me. Like they'll just like message me actually. So that's why I'm kind of hoping this new agency brings out some brand deals.
No, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was more so something that I was determined. Like I told my management team, like, hey guys, like I want to break a Guinness World Record. I want to do this. I'm gonna do this. Like even if I can't get funded, like whatsoever, like I'm gonna do this. And so I had an agent, no, not an agency. I had a brand. They just reached out and they wanted me to just make videos for their page, like just covering sports stories and things like that. And then that's when my management team was like, hey, like Lacey wants to do this kind of like tour. We think it could create a lot of hype. Like, would that be something you guys would be wanting to sponsor? And they did agree to that.
Wow.
So kind of like what they did was they just gave me a stipend, and the stipend was to cover the whole entire tour. So
Okay.
so I booked everything still. Like I booked the hotel, I booked the travel, all that. So I always book that, like no matter what. Like I'm always booking my own hotel, my own travel, like
Yeah.
flight, Uber, all that. So I had all of the logistics out. And so to make the most of the stipend, I was sleeping obviously in places.
It's cheaper. You ain't
Nah.
gonna sleep, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
what you gotta do.
So you were just like, making it last.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't blame you. I did the same
And
thing.
probably get the cheapest flights too, like
The
Oh,
cheapest
yeah.
flights, the
and stuff.
cheapest
Fucking
room. Like,
Spirit,
yeah,
yeah.
you gotta.
Well, I feel like with something like
some
that
money.
though, especially with you like wanting to break a world record and whatnot, I think, at least I don't know how it works, but I feel like maybe like an airline company or like a hotel company would have, if you like reached out or something, maybe they could have like jumped in and sponsored it too, and like been like, oh, like if you stay at our hotels or if you fly Southwest to all these games,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just, but I feel like with something like that, like there's the opportunities are endless,
Yeah. And my agency did try.
Oh, okay, and it
Yeah.
just still no luck.
No luck.
Because that's a lot of money. It's like all these flights.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they would want to help out
Is there an official sponsor for the NFL for
for
flights? Is it Southwest
for
flights? Is there an official
NFL?
sponsor for the NFL?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I probably, but
I would assume
their
so.
sponsors change all the
don't-
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just take us through like that year. Would you have 32 games and 73 days? I have it actually right here.
No, she went to
32 games and 73 days, breaking a world record doing so.
yeah.
You did 27,000 miles. We just heard you booked everything. So just take us, how was it just traveling all that much, booking all that stuff, going to every game? Like, was it stressful? Was it fun? Like, just take us through that experience of like how all that went down.
It was every emotion possible, if I'm going to be honest. It was just, imagine, so I was traveling every Thursday to every Thursday game, Sunday game, and Monday game. So I was typically just out living out of my suitcase for months. Like that's really what I was doing. I would go from one location to another, and I'm not staying in the nicest places possible. I remember in Buffalo, I was at this Super 8 hotel that literally it was insane. Like the hotel was probably the most sketch hotel I've ever stayed in my life. I was in this like car. It wasn't even a car dealership. It looked like what do they call it? A junkyard. That was the thing right next to it that I booked, the Super 8, and the Super 8 still cost me $160 a night. It was the cheapest option in Buffalo. So I was like, well, I'm going to do it. And I remember my manager was like, because she has my location, and she was like, I don't know if you should really be staying there like as like a single woman. She's like, I know you're independent, but like,
Yeah.
let's not do that. So she ended up getting me like a different place.
That's
but
nice.
yeah, definitely nice.
That
But
was what I was going to ask you too, is about like, obviously you're going to all these games, all these different cities, but you are by yourself. So like, How was that? Because I'm sure like you have to like deal with people and like go into these games. So like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I get chirped 24/7. Like, it's just like something I
Yeah.
do. I feel like I wear things that maybe, I mean, shouldn't allow
Yeah.
people to chirp at me. Like,
Yeah.
that's not an excuse. But it's like, I'm just so used to it that it doesn't even faze me whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, I'm traveling alone. I'm not the brightest person. I tell people I'm very book smart, street smart.
Okay.
We're not there yet. Gonna be honest. Because like so many situations I get myself in, like I am very surprised I haven't been kidnapped yet. Like actually, just very very stupid situations. I'd say for one, when I was in Baltimore after a Ravens game. It was Sunday Night Football. And I was just walking around the street. I was just waiting for an Uber because, like,
Yeah.
the Uber to go 6 minutes cost me $150. So I'm like,
Those price surges will
Yeah,
get you.
you gotta walk
for
down a
real.
little 2 blocks. Hey,
Yeah.
$20 back.
Wait a couple minutes. Yeah.
exactly. So I was just walking and walking and walking. And then a police officer was like, ma'am, you should get an Uber. And I was like, oh, I just need a little further. Like, they're pretty
Yeah.
expensive right now. And he was like, you should get one right here or right now next to me. And I was like, what? Why? And apparently, like, I guess I don't really know Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like, I just like, maybe I wasn't in a safe area whatsoever, but I think that just like goes into like the tour. Like, I didn't know half these places where I was or anything like that, because typically when you go to a game, you might know more about the stadium, your surroundings. For me, I would get into that city that day and go to that game, and then I would leave the next day. For that game, for example, I was in DC at a Commanders game for the early Sunday game, and then I drove to Baltimore for the Sunday Night Football game. And the
Wow.
next day, I was at Chiefs Monday Night Football.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like not in an area enough to really know
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know, like if I'm in a city for like 2 days, I might be like, okay, cool. So like this is where I should go or not to go.
Yeah.
But like for me, like there were so many times that I was just like, oh, I probably shouldn't be walking here at night like alone. Just not the smartest. But there are so many situations like missed flights, like sprinting in the airport to make my flight, just buying last minute flights, like spending a ridiculous amount of money just to get there. Because if you think about it, if I'm not there at a game, the world record is not even met.
Yeah.
So it's like I did this whole entire thing and it's not met. And we had like a contract. Again, I got a stipend, but if I didn't meet in the contract going to those games for the world record, like I wouldn't have got the stipend. So you bet I was busting my ass to
Yeah.
like get there. Like I wasn't about
Yeah.
to be like, well, I'm gonna miss this. Like
Yeah.
I had to be sure that I was on time for everything, and sometimes you can't plan for that.
Yeah.
Traffic, so many times I would wait in traffic in the Uber to go to a stadium. Like sometimes, even if I'm not very far away, it will take a long time to get there. So I'd have to like sprint like 3 miles, all sweaty, and then be like at the game, like take a selfie. I'm here.
Yeah.
And deep down, I like look like a wet dog. Like I'm just trying to like. But I mean, yeah. And again, I'm traveling in a suitcase. I actually carried 2 suitcases around everywhere. So some Airbnbs I stayed in would like you'd have to like go up the stairs. The stairs might be like, like really really skinny. And I'm sitting there just like with my suitcases, 2 suitcases,
Yeah.
like carrying it one by one by
Yeah.
one. And I was just like, what is this life? Like, this is like a chaotic life right now. But it was fun. Like, that is really how I took off and grew my following. I'd say TikTok was my TikTok didn't really grow because my content changed. But on Instagram, my content like grew a lot. And I think that the whole reason behind why I first wanted to start the tour was for my nephew that's been battling cancer. He can't go to football games. So at every single stadium, I brought an item with me, actually. And so I was able to gift it to him and create a movie for him to watch what it's like going to every stadium. And so I never shared that story behind the reason why I wanted to do it. I felt like I didn't want people to offend my nephew or make fun of his appearance or anything like that, because he went through radiation at such a young age that his face is a little configured because it stopped the growth, you know? So I didn't want people to make fun of him, and I was like, people can make fun of me, people can say what they want, people can say that I'm out here daddy's money even though my daddy doesn't have money. Like, they cut me off.
So are people recognizing you and this is what they're telling you? Or would they comment this on like
just commenting? Yeah, people comment, you know, like this keyboard warriors. That they go hard in my comments. Like, if you ever want to like read a good thing, just things. If say you're just feeling bad about yourself, just read my comments.
We know the keyboard warriors. He's posted a video about me about the title was the greatest Texas players of all time. But what the video was about was my favorite Texas players of all time.
You got to clickbait him. So how to get
and then I just got cooked in the comments.
And then he just posted a
video.
video.
And then I say he just posted a video, MMA video, and they were like, why don't you get in there and do martial arts? Why don't you get in there and take them down? Like, I was like, bro.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I don't know, like we all consume content, but me personally, I've never felt the need to just go comment on some random person's post that I've never met and will probably never meet and just say something mean. Like, for what? Like, what are you getting?
I don't think I've ever commented on a post in general.
But I mean, that's a good segue into like another question too. Is you're pretty like in tune with your audience and stuff, at least on Instagram. Like from me following you now and stuff, and when you post your content, you do respond to a lot of people and talk to them and stuff. So like, I guess like what, like or like how is it? Because you're obviously reading these comments, so like you had to have trained yourself to just ignore what people are saying, because you are like in the weeds, like engaging with your fans and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so like beyond really reading into what people have to say. I think starting my career kind of on TikTok really trained me for that, because I think when you have someone that is not only in sports sharing opinions, you still get hate from that. But then when you tag on the fact that I'm a female, I think that also adds another element, which I'm not saying that that's always the case. Yeah. But in my situation, when I was growing my TikTok, I didn't have a following. It kind of was because, hey, people don't really know who I am. Like, who am I to be able to share people, share my advice? Like, people are like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? So yeah, I don't pay much attention to it. I feel like there's a lot of disturbing stuff in there. Like,
I saw one of your posts just recently. Like, this guy was like, "Do you do like OF content?" And then you were like, "That's not the content I do," or something. And I was just like, one, that's crazy, but I thought it was funny that you like responded to him, because he probably like, oh, she's not gonna respond, and then like you responded to him. He like looks stupid now. You know?
I know. I get that all the time, and like, hey. Girls that do that, you do your thing. I have nothing against it. That's just not my path and my journey. So I have nothing against it. But again, like, it's kind of annoying when you get that comment all the time, because like some clothes that I wear, some tops that I wear might come off as obviously revealing because of certain situations of my body. But it's like, it's not meant to do that. Like,
no, exactly.
That's not what I'm trying to do. Like, I'll even show, like, say I work out, I wear a crop top or like shorts, but that's just because that's what I work out in and I'm comfortable in my body, but I'm not comfortable in the fact that I want to sell my body, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like we're in a day and age where, like, just because you're a famous girl that's a content creator, like, that's what you do. Yeah, and that's what sucks about it as well.
No, for sure. Going back to when you were like doing all these games and stuff like that, Obviously, you're having to wear like apparel and whatnot for the teams, or typically the home team is what it looks like. Are the teams giving you apparel, or are you having to go buy that yourselves with the stipend and all that? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so usually the team would give me apparel. They always did. Every single time I have team apparel on, it's because I was gifted it.
That's nice.
And so, yeah, that's kind of why people would label me as a bandwagon. But it was like, I get it.
But you got to dress for the team.
You do.
You know, you can't just be like wearing a white T-shirt every game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was one of those things that the teams are the ones that gift me the tickets.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, I can't just show up there and be like, yeah, I'm not rooting for any of these guys. Like, I'm just here. Like, I have to like show that like I'm a fan of them and like experience what it's like to be a fan. Like, even if I'm not. Now, there were times, obviously, like the Broncos didn't gift me anything, which is fair. The Chargers didn't give me anything, which is fair. The Raiders didn't give me
the whole
anything.
AFC West, huh?
Whole AFC West. They're like, nah, you like the Chiefs, like. Move on. But they did like gift me tickets, which was nice.
Yeah.
Like, but so yeah, I mean.
Would you have to go buy their apparel at that point?
No.
No.
Yeah, you're not anti. You just wore regular clothes.
Yeah, I just wore regular clothes. Yeah. Yep. I sure
enough.
did.
What fan bases were the most?
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask that. I was gonna say what fan bases, who had the best fan base, who had the worst fan base, who had the loudest fan base, and what play do you remember the most?
Ooh, yeah. That's a really, really good one. I'd say probably the worst fan base. I mean, it's hard to say because I like every single fan base for specific reasons. I'd say one that gets labeled pretty negatively would be Philly fans, Eagles fans. I mean, it's not that they're, awful, but I think you have to understand that, like, people in Philly, people in, like, New Jersey are very blunt and tell you how it is.
Yeah.
Like, they can come off as assholes, and that's okay. Like, that's okay for a Midwest person like me or someone in the South. Like, that's like, whoa, hold on. But they just say how it is. Like they're not afraid. Like they literally don't give two fucks like who comes their way or like who insults them or what comes out of their mouth. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I obviously would get chirped all the time. Like, I was stupid. So this was before they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but I would show up there wearing Chiefs apparel. I would. And I would literally get chirped like no other, middle fingers everywhere.
And you got the last laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? I didn't even know, like, hey, they're going to play each other probably. Like, this was, like, early on in the season. But I still did it. But then as far as the nicest fans, really, I have so many fan bases that I just love. Seahawks fans are really nice. I'd say, what's another really nice one? Man, I personally love Packers fans. I think they're so nice. I know when they played the Cowboys, there was some like beef and stuff. But they, again, were so nice to me and not judgmental. Cowboys fans are always nice to me too. I think it's one of those things that, like, in general, like, a lot of fan bases aren't really that mean because I am wearing their home team. So they're all pretty nice to me. I will say at a Packers game, one of my friends that works with the NFL, she lost her phone and she like couldn't find it anywhere. And a Packers fan like apparently like found it and brought it to her. And she's like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, she's
That's
based out of
crazy.
LA and she's like, that's never happening in LA.
Yeah.
No, that's never happening in many places.
Yeah. And even her keys to the rental car, she had an Audi. She lost both of those, her phone and the Audi car keys. So they like brought it to her.
And that's
Yeah.
for sure.
That's
not
crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Many
That's
places.
like, so that kind of shows how the people are in Green Bay. They're genuine people. They're really nice. I mean, a lot of them, they just live in this small neighborhood. It's just like very, very small community.
Yeah, it's crazy. My one of my really good friends is from Wisconsin. He's a big Green Bay fan, and it's like the stadium's literally in the neighborhood, and they're the only team in the NFL where the fans own the team instead of like it having an actual owner.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What was your favorite stadium? What was your least favorite stadium? I know you like did a video on it, but for the viewers, like what would you say is your least and favorite?
Yeah, my least.
And the reasons why too.
Yeah, my least would be. So last year I said FedEx Field, but I kind of changed it this year to MetLife. And the reason why for MetLife is just that stadium, for being the home base for the Giants and the Jets, two New York teams, is just like, it's a hassle to get to. It's nothing special. It's super big. And it's just kind of like, I feel like there's not the greatest amenities. And I've been in their suites. I've been in their clubs. I've been to it now 4 times in the past 2 seasons, where like I feel like I can accurately say that it's not great. I even, on my way out of the stadium, I missed the train and I could not get an Uber. Like I know there's difficulties getting Ubers out of games no matter what, but like I literally was waiting for an Uber for 2 hours to not get one. And so it was just crazy. And there are people like these little drivers that were like, ma'am, I'll take you. And I'm like, how much? He's like, 300. No. I was like, I literally could, I could technically probably walk there. It was like only 2 miles, but like I just didn't know the area well enough to do that. So, and then as far as my favorite, I mean, it's Lambeau. It's just like, it's an iconic location for the fact that you are in a neighborhood. And I've been to now 2 snow games there in the past 2 seasons.
Fire.
And those 2 snow games are just, it's iconic. It's like a Christmas card, like just a movie almost. You're like just there with the snow falling, and it's just, it's a neighborhood. It just feels like a small community. And I mean, they have a super nice pro shop that some stadiums don't have. And the fans there are so nice. Like, don't get me wrong, you're sitting on metal bleachers, but you're not really sitting during the game. Everyone's standing.
Yeah, super traditional.
Yeah, it is. And I like that. I feel like nowadays, like SoFi Stadium to me, it's super nice, but it's nothing like the fan atmosphere, the fan experience is gone.
And it's in LA too. Like LA, there's just so much to do there.
Yeah.
That, I mean, with USC, like the Coliseum hasn't been filled up in years, you know, like there's just so much to do in LA. So
yeah, the
makes a lot
sports
of
market's
sense.
definitely different.
How's the Cowboy Stadium?
I love Cowboys. It's a top 5 for me, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the play that you remember the most out of all of them?
Ooh, the play I remember the most. I think it was last year during the Bills versus Vikings game. I would believe it was a catch by Justin Jefferson.
Yes, there was like that crazy one. It was like it was like 4th and 27.
Yeah.
It was like the one.
Oh, the one-handed catch.
Yes.
Oh, you were there for that.
That
That's
was
crazy.
there.
I remember I like missed it, and I had to like YouTube TV. Thankful for that. I had to like rewind.
No,
it.
yeah, I was watching that game. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Did the stadium go crazy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because there was still like a ton of Vikings fans there. But I remember I was freezing cold because that stadium is not nice. Like, I mean, the Bills fans are so fun. They're crazy.
I know, jumping on burning tables now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and there's a guy, he's Pinto Ryan, and he literally, it's a tradition. Every single game, he gets squirted with mustard and ketchup.
What? Like his whole body?
His whole body. Like,
Oh my.
the whole crowd is there just watching him, and they're literally drenching him in ketchup
That is
and mustard.
crazy.
I wonder how that
What a
even got
psychopath.
started. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ketchup mustard is so random. Like that's not
Yeah.
even like the Bills color. I feel like that's something the Steelers would do, like Heinz Field. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Like that's on brand.
Something.
Yeah, I know.
How was it like planning the content, like visiting the stadiums and like working with like the stadiums?
Yeah, so like planning the content as like, what am I gonna post?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a little challenging, I would say, because like what people don't realize, I would say, is that I'm doing all the content myself. Like everything that I do is literally just me. Like I'm having to get help from some random person. Like, hey, can you hold the phone right here so I can like take a video? Just like it's all done by me, which is like very, very challenging. So I come in with some sounds. Now, I think of just like what would stink was I would create these long videos that were super informative. They're super nice, taking me a long time to do. Well, they wouldn't do nearly as well as videos that were just like a selfie of me with a clip of the play. I'm like, seriously? So then I kind of just transitioned to that, and like my mind is kind of like a library of TikTok sounds. Like it's just constantly constantly playing a sound. So yeah, so I was just thinking of different TikTok sounds to do, like when I see a moment happen, and that's just kind of what I go in and do, I guess. Now, if I'm collabing with a team, I can't use like certain TikTok sounds just because they have certain like rules and regulations. But yeah, it's kind of what I did.
So we had mentioned that, you know, you'd went to that, you know, Chiefs Eagles game early in the season that year, this following year. And then you ended up going to the Super Bowl, which is an incredible experience.
That's
like
nuts.
Super jealous of that. Like,
Yeah.
well, that's definitely a bucket list thing. So how was going to the Super Bowl? And then you were able to do something, I think it was with Sports Illustrated there, and you were interviewing people. You sat down with people like CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, JJ Watt, those guys. Just how was that experience, and like how'd you get that opportunity to do that?
Yeah, so just when I was doing the tour, I remember I got reached out to by Sports Illustrated, and they were like, hey, we were thinking of having you come and interview players at Radio Row for us during the Super Bowl this year. And I got this news back like in October, and I was like, what? Like I was so excited, so nervous, like just everything. Like it was crazy. And so it just so happened to be that like my own team, the Chiefs, were there. It was like a dream come true, honestly. And the Super Bowl was so much fun. So I was there like Monday through Monday the next week, and every day I was doing interviews. So I would get my hair and makeup done at 4 a.m. And then I would be at Radio Row at 7 a.m. and I would do interviews. We would do interviews until 2 p.m. And then I had an event that night, whether it was NFL, like walk, Hall of Fame kind of thing, like just different NFL events that I would have to be on the red carpet holding a mic, just randomly asking people. But obviously they would stop by me, which was nice because I'm not really like someone that is like, hey, I gotta ask you something. Like, I'm not really that type of person, but they would stop since it was like Sports Illustrated. So like that was nice. But yeah, I mean, I interviewed so many different professional athletes that it was really, really, really fun. I got to know them better and just kind of see some athletes for who they are rather than like who they appear to be. I remember also when I was on the red carpet, I had like a couple NFL players that were walking by with their like wives or girlfriends to be like, hey, TikTok, I know you.
That's cool.
It was
That's
cool.
Yeah, that's cool to like be
dope.
recognized for like what you're doing. And I guess even from there, like the Super Bowl and all that experience, what was something about the Super Bowl that was like underwhelming? And then what was something that you've seen like growing up on TV that like over delivered when you finally saw it in person?
Yeah, so I would say underwhelming part would just be the fact that I feel like a lot of the people that are at Super Bowls are like celebrities. Like obviously you have like the great fan bases, like, you know, some really diehard fans, but I would say like it's still different than going to a regular season game for the fact that the tickets are so expensive and you have to travel there and everything.
That's what I think. I don't remember what's him right now, but I just recently told somebody in our friend group that was like, it just sucks that like, I wish those tickets weren't so expensive. I mean, I get why they are because it's the Super Bowl, it's the most watched event and for a while now, and the biggest fans are people who can't afford it. And it sucks, and they'll never just to get to experience that in their lifetime just because they can't afford it. And I wish that there was just some way where those fans like the Green Bay fans, like if there was a way when they went 2012 or whatever, that they got to experience like going buy a ticket and experience that.
So for someone like you, like You save up 27 years. You
Oh,
know,
right.
you might have just been a
This
savings
point,
away. So whenever
yeah.
the Cowboys make it, you have it saved
First
up.
row. Shit.
Yeah.
Might be my
Yeah.
kid's college tuition at that point. Ain't never making it.
True.
Damn.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm super jealous that you got to go. For one, that, like you said, it's a bucket list. I mean, I think everybody wishes they got to go to the Super Bowl at one point in their life. Not only did you get to go, you got to watch your team. Not only did your team go, your team won it.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Because, I mean, you're there. Like, are you confident they're going to win? Or are you nervous, don't know what to expect? And then you see them win. It's just...
Yeah. So I was absolutely nervous the whole entire time. Like, I had no idea. And the part that was difficult was I was there with Sports Illustrated. So obviously I can't show who I'm rooting for. Like, I can't
That
wear my team colors. And I was
sucks.
like, seriously? And like, I'm watching the game at the press box. And so like at the end of the game, it was like the last like 4 minutes of the game. Didn't really know what was going to happen during then because I was down in the tunnel. Because I was waiting for the players to come out of the tunnel to like interview them real quick. So I couldn't see what happened the very end of the game. But like, I'm still grateful I got the opportunity to go. But like, me being selfish in a way was like, man, I wish I was there.
So you didn't get to like see them like
win
or like the
on
confetti
field.
drop and
Nope.
Oh.
No, I did not see that.
That's tough.
Which is
That's
kind of
tough.
like, yeah, I know, because I was there just for work. So like, I was happy to be there, experience it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's like the pro and con of it. It's like, yeah, you get to go, but like,
But yeah,
can't watch, like, you can't cheer on your team and you don't get to watch the end of it.
Yeah, I saw the Hunt family, like they came out like right beside me and they were super happy. And then I saw like Brittany Mahomes holding the baby and like that whole family. So I was like, okay, Chiefs won.
Yeah.
We're good. Like they're like sprinting out. So I'm like, yay. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, I missed it. And I went on the field like after everything, like after post-game interviews, because I was there with the post-game interviews, like interviewing the players, hearing them, which was super cool. But then I got to get some confetti on the field that I gave my family.
That's
like,
dope.
That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like take something back home.
I was like, I didn't see it come down, but like,
yeah,
Here
I
it
was
is.
there.
Yeah.
I was there.
yeah.
I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a big college baseball fan. And a lot of teams who go to Omaha, it's hard to make it there and not many
Yeah.
teams go back.
Yeah.
So a lot of the players are like for like the lesser teams, like Coastal Carolina won when they went, but like teams like Coastal Carolina, a lot of those guys will like scoop up dirt, or if it's their last like season, they'll scoop up dirt from the
like a jar.
field, and then they just keep that forever because that's the College World Series, and that's like where everybody's goal is to make it. It's like to show that you got to play in that. Like, here's dirt from the College World Series. That's what some people do.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So like with the NFL season coming to a close, obviously the playoffs are going on. You just went to the Texans game. We were talking about that. You going out there. I guess since you are like super into the NFL and football in general, what's like the plans normally for you like look like during the off season?
Yeah, so I actually do go to a lot of baseball games.
Okay.
I had a very similar thing last year with MLB. I did the World Baseball Classic. I was their like correspondent
fire.
person.
Yeah, that's
so I was
fire.
at every single game that were in the U.S.
I was about to ask,
Yeah.
did you go?
Yeah. I went. So I was in Arizona, and then I was in Miami, and that was cool because they had like a total of 6 different content creators, and I was just the U.S. one. They had one representing like different countries. So like the Japanese content creator that was there from Japan. Him and I became like best buds because obviously the championship game was U.S. versus Japan,
yeah,
you know.
And we lost.
But it was cool to like understand like his culture and things like that. And so I did just a lot of different partnerships with some like minor league teams and discussing like just fun little ballparks. Like in Dallas, they have one with a lazy river. Here they have Round Rock, the minor league team. They have like a baseball thing. It's called a home run dugout.
At the Express Stadium.
Yeah.
It's called the dugout.
is
Yeah,
it?
it's called the dugout, and you can
Yeah.
go and like it's like a simulation. It's like I
Top
get kind of
golf,
like Top
kinda.
Golf, but like a ball comes up and you hit it, and it
that's
like
cool.
you hit a screen and like projects like
It'll
how
show,
far.
like a golf simulator almost. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be hitting
Gotcha.
over the fence every time, but
Okay. Okay. Hey, I understand.
Yeah, but so I kind of like to uncover things like that. Now, I would love to be able to kind of develop my own show, perhaps, like that's a goal that I have. But just kind of seeing where the journey goes. I will be at the Super Bowl this year again.
Oh, okay.
Which is fun. It's in
Jealous?
Vegas.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
I
that's
was,
gonna be crazy.
I guess at this point I was talking out of my ass, but I was like, man, if the Cowboys make it, I'm gonna be in Vegas. I probably won't be at the game, but I'm gonna go to Vegas. And that was just, I'm a Texas fan too, obviously. But I was like, if we make it, I'm gonna go to Houston because that's where the national championship was. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at least gonna be there, and none of them made it, so I guess I won't be seeing you there.
Thank God.
no.
But that's fire. You get to go again.
Yeah, you know, I'm still like configuring how to get a place there and stuff because obviously, like this year, I'm doing it on my own. So that's expensive, but we're gonna make the best of it. I have kind of like in the works, like a brand deal to like actually go to the game, pay for the ticket.
That's fire.
So it's just getting there.
I was gonna ask, have you been to the stadium yet? But clearly you've been.
Yeah.
Because
want
I was in Vegas for my birthday this past fall, and I was like, "Where's this stadium at?" But like the T-Mobile Arena, the Allegiant Stadium, were just kind of ducked off in the back, and I was like, "That's kind of underwhelming."
Yeah. It is. It's a nice stadium inside though. They have like a club section that's like what's it called? It's called I think the Win House Club. But it's just like you're basically on field level, and it's literally a club. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a club for people to just go in, and like tickets to get in there are like $5,000.
Can you see like the field and everything?
Uh-huh.
Is it kind of
Watching
like
the
what the
game there.
Cowboys do? I mean, it's not like a club, but it's like similar
Like in
to
the
something
corner
like that.
and stuff.
Well, they have like on the
those
sideline.
like
it's
dugout.
like
They look like
filled
dugouts.
out. Yeah.
It's similar to that, yes, but it's just on one like end zone, and it's one of those things that it's like there's like bottle girls, and like it's like an actual like Vegas like club.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like a
that's
club
cool.
club. Yeah.
Okay.
What's over there? The Lexar? That the closest hotel you'd be to, or I guess casino hotel you'd be to?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I think because that's the pyramid one.
I have awful luck, so I literally don't like to gamble.
Well, I'm saying like that's the closest like hotel to the
Is
stadium.
it? Is it?
It's got to be like the Lexar, or maybe Mandalay Bay. Yeah, those would be like probably the closest to the stadium because they're more
Yeah.
towards like the airport side of it, I guess you could say.
I'm probably gonna stay like do a shared room in an Airbnb or something. Pretty cheap.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean
that's
even
good,
then,
though.
but yeah, even then it's
Yeah.
like when you're flying, like it's like the strip, and then maybe obviously traffic's kind of crazy there, but like maybe 5 minutes off the strip is like the neighborhoods, if that.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously going to Super Bowl. Thank you for telling us that in the news.
yeah.
But so obviously, done a ton with the NFL, and you said you did like the World Baseball Classic. I would figure someone like another organization like the NBA or MLS or NHL, seeing kind of like what you're doing for the NFL and the brand exposure for that sport, and the ratings came out for the playoff games, and NFL's crushing. Like every playoff game has like 25 plus million views. So obviously the most popular sport in America. Has the NBA or any of the other, major American sports organizations hit you up to kind of do something similar for them? Or are you trying to like stay in a niche for now and then maybe tap into some of the other stuff?
No, they have all of the above has, and I've gone to games for all of them. I had probably after I did the college basketball Final Four, the next opportunity I had was with the Warriors. So I was going there a couple times and doing like just kind of showcasing fan experience and stuff like that. And it was cool because again, the guy that I interviewed for AT&T, Bill Walton, was literally seats right next to mine at the Warriors game, and I was like, "Wow, this is a sign!" But so yeah, I love NBA. I did a lot with the Spurs.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot with them. I went to the NBA draft with them. They sent me there. So I've got to meet Wemby, and I plan to do more stuff with the Spurs just during the football season. I really can't.
Yeah.
NHL, I was there opening night for Tampa Bay Lightning, which was really fun. So I haven't done a ton with MLS, but I would love to be able to experience more. I also want to do more college. I love college football. I love college basketball. I think they're both so much fun. It's just kind of, I'd say it's easier in ways to work with them, but it's also harder in ways to get sponsored to work with them.
It's not as popular, or
Yeah.
it is, but it's like
I feel like
different.
they're like all like sponsorship, or like Nissan is like for like you think of when it's college football, like Nissan's like probably like the biggest sponsor, in Chick-fil-A and Dr. Pepper.
And the thing is too, with like college sports, especially college football, it's like the NCAA is so like behind the times, and there's like, it's like the Wild West. Like there's no like true like governing body structure. Like the NFL is like an organization, 32 teams, like the Shield. So it's like all very like, there's an infrastructure there, but like these other sports like college, no infrastructure. So it's just kind of like random, you know?
Yeah.
I think the MLS would be a great opportunity for you, especially like living in Austin now. You have Austin FC.
Yeah.
We were good in year 2. Almost won the whole thing, went to the Western Conference Finals, lost. Last year we didn't even make the playoffs, 10th in the West. But hopefully in year 4, improvement.
We just drafted somebody good too.
Yeah, so if you want to do something with MLS, they'd probably love to work with you, especially because you're local too.
And the Spurs are coming to Austin here pretty soon.
Yeah, at the Moody Center. Yeah, they're playing two. They play
the Nuggets,
and the
Wolves.
Timberwolves.
Yeah,
When?
In April, I think.
The back to back. It's like April 8th
Back
and
to
9th
back.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
mhm.
Yeah,
They've been doing that for like the last couple of years, trying to like grow like the Austin, I guess, fan market. And I was telling him, I was like, I would just love them to just move here. Like,
yeah. And they're I think it's like they're doing it from here on out. 2 games in Austin, at least 2 games in Austin
a
every
year. Yeah.
Do you think they'd eventually move out?
I would say probably not, only because the UT holds so much power as a brand, but I don't think it would be a bad decision for them, because like obviously we have Austin FC, and yes, it is soccer, so it's not going to really, and it's in a different year like time period than UT football. But I could see the Spurs being very successful here, depending on like where it was located and stuff like that. Because having an NBA, I mean, we have F1 here, like we're starting to get more stuff. So having an NBA team, I think would just make Austin even more. And like, I don't know, I just feel like we'd be a better market than San Antonio. I think it would be like more profitable personally.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but like, that's just like what I think. At least he's more of a Spurs fan to me. I can't stand the Spurs.
I don't know. I think they're just like, it's that the team just means too much to the city. I mean, just
5 championships.
5
too.
championships. I mean, you like when you think of like David Robinson, Tim Duncan, like this, like in the San Antonio Spurs, like if they changed to like the Austin Spurs, like I don't think you'll like relate any of that to like the Spurs. I think the city just, I mean, the team is just too iconic to the city, and like that's, I guess like that's all the city has going for them as well. Like you said, we have Q2, we have F1, we have the Longhorns, we have the Express. Like we already have so much. We're the live music capital of the world.
Joe
So, like,
Rogan, like
we
the
have
mothership,
Joe Rogan. Like we
everything.
have all this stuff already.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't see a reason for them to like bring another professional sports team to here. I think MLS was probably like perfect and good, but other than that, I don't see them, because they've mentioned baseball, they've mentioned like a professional football team. I don't see them bringing another professional team to the city.
Yeah, and Austin's centralized enough. Like you can go to Houston, Dallas, San Antonio in 3 hours for all of them under. So like if you want to go see the Cowboys or Texans or the Spurs, whoever, like it's not like far or anything too. So
I guess going with all these sports, like, do you have to make sure you're tapped in with every sport or no?
To a degree, I'd say that, like, I'm very, like, honest and blunt when it comes to sports I'm not comfortable in. Like, I won't be here giving people advice on hockey.
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's just not for me. Like, I want to experience hockey more to learn it. I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about hockey.
Same.
That like is a sport. It's fascinating. Like I
It's
can't
super
even
entertaining to
skate.
watch, especially during the playoffs. Like it's so fast paced. Like it is nonstop action.
Yeah. I had a guy that like, I mean, he's a professional athlete, and he was like telling me, he's like, it's kind of like basketball, and I was like, what? I think he meant like the people playing like it's 5-5, but I was like, I just genuinely don't get that. Then like, you just confuse me more.
Yeah.
Like so.
The power plays, and then it's like when can you hit people, and there's like offsides, and it's crazy. Like,
Yeah, I guess it's like a mixture of like basketball and soccer because like there is offsides. You can't like just hit anyone like you want to. You can't tackle anyone like you want to in soccer. So I guess it's like a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Are you tapped in with like F1 at all?
No, I'd love to be able to get more into that. I started doing some like IndyCar events this year. Like I got to be driving one. It was in St. Louis. It was for one of the races there.
Wow, that's
and I got
cool.
to drive it, and it was
How was that?
oh my gosh.
Which make or model, I guess you could say. Do you know?
Well, it's just an Indy car. I don't know which one. It was just like an Indy car. Like I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like in F1, there's like Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche's going in it, but different brands like that. And I know in IndyCar, Porsche's in IndyCar because that's my favorite car is Porsche. So like once they come to F1, I'm go to Porsche fan instead of McLaren. But I know like Porsche's like in IndyCar. So Ford's in IndyCar.
The best way to get into F1, I would say, is to watch the show on Netflix. Like, that's how I got into it. It's called Drive to Survive. No free shout outs. I told him to watch that, and it's super easy to get into because it's literally like reality TV. Like it's behind the scenes. It's like the fights, the arguments, like the drivers arguing with each other. And I think the first season was like the 2018 or 2019 F1 season, but they do it yearly. Yeah. So it's pretty cool to like get in and you can learn it really quick from watching it. It's an easy watch. Like I think it'd be cool. And plus, CODA's coming up again this year. So maybe something you could do as well, just to do something.
It turned
different.
into my favorite sport or one of my favorite sports, just because like in football, like you can have one guy take over really. Like we'll just Cowboy game. Aaron Jones literally just took over that game and he ran all over us, scored all the touchdowns. Basketball, you're going to have someone to take over. Like this is the sport where like, in my opinion, it takes literally the whole team to like have a successful race. Because like, it's like, somebody's behind the wheel, but there's somebody like talking to you and like giving you strategies to do. And then you also have to like be aware of like how you're driving to make sure your tires don't like wear out.
That's a lot.
And then when you come in the pit stop, you have to like depend on your pit crew to like change everything, like change your tires in time, fill you up fast enough, replace like your wings fast enough. And if they like mess up literally by like a millisecond, that can cost you the race.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you into like UFC or MMA or any of that? Not yet.
I do enjoy UFC. Like I will say that I love that because for me, like I even love taking kind of fighting classes. Like I've done boxing training for a long time. I would never compete professionally, but like no, but just like more like as a workout.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. I think it's fascinating. I don't really want a loved one necessarily to do it. I feel like it's just very dangerous in ways, but it's fascinating for sure.
Yeah.
There's a girl right now. I don't know how much you keep up with UFC, but there's a girl right now. She's like new on the scene. She is popping off on the content side.
Really?
Yeah, she's popping off. Do you know her name? I can't remember her name. Is it Maria or Mary or something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about? No, I know. She's not hired by the UFC or anything. I don't know how she like gets all her passes and whatnot. I guess just because she's popping off and like UFC just lets her back there and whatnot. But she like interviews all the fighters. She does like a lot of TikTok content. I can't remember her name, but she is popping off right now. And like when he showed me your stuff, you reminded me of her. Just because she's like doing the same like thing. She's like independent and like trying to make a name for herself. And UFC is they're hardcore fans, so they're like kind of giving her shit. But like there's still a lot of people like showing her a lot of love. And she does like when she interviews fighters, just like questions that are just off the wall that you wouldn't think of, and you're like, why are you asking them something like that? Even the fighters are like, oh, okay, and then like answer the question. But I'll find her name, but she's killing it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some friends that are girls that do WWE, and so I think that's
Yes,
really
sir.
fun.
Let's go.
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
yeah. So I enjoy like really every sport I appreciate.
I guess like since you like blew up, amassing your followers and having the follower count you do, what was that like? You just see a number, and then every day you wake up, you're like, dang, 10,000 followers, 30,000 in bunches. Then you're getting way more engagement. You're becoming like recognizable. And then you say like you grew up back home, small town, like humble beginnings and whatnot. Like, how has that been for you?
Yeah, I'd say it's been very interesting. I remember it was probably a game I went to like probably a month ago. It was kind of like funny on my part, but there was this person that follows me and they're like, Lacey, is that you? And I was like, hi. And I was like, what's your name? And he told me his name, and I'm like, I'm Lacey. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, oh, he actually already knew like my name.
Yeah.
But it's still just like, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, like I'm just a normal human being like everybody else. And like I still have a long way to go. Like I'm just kind of getting started. That I don't view kind of my growth as me being ahead of people. Just kind of like I still view myself as just like a small town kid. I'm very quiet. Like people don't know really about my personal life at all. Like I keep to myself. I'm very I just like I'm very quiet about that stuff. Like I just really share my content out for people. And so I will always be humble. That's just something
That was one of that's what I
me.
told these guys, because I was like, when I first met you and stuff like that, just like working in the content industry, and like you meet people with certain number of followers or certain reach or whatever they do, and like when I first met you, I was like, man, she is so humble and just so genuine. And I was just like, that really resonated with me, because that's kind of how we like try to model ourselves and just be authentic no matter who we're speaking with or who we're meeting or whatever. And once like we had that connection, I was like, oh yeah, like I definitely like would like us to work with her, because those are the type of people we're always looking to like meet and talk to and get to know. So yeah.
That was going to be one question I was going to ask you was, who is Lacey Brown when she's not making content? Because obviously you're just always in front of the camera. You're always doing something with sports teams or for yourself or whatever the case is. So it's going to be, who is Lacey Brown when she's not making content?
Yeah, that is such a good question. I don't know if I've ever been asked that before. Really good question. I would say I am someone that I love working out. That's something that I always am doing. I'm also someone that's very family oriented and like very much so for my friends. And I'm a homebody. I watch Netflix every night. Like I don't really go out ever or do any of that. So I'm very, very chill. But I'd say I'm very, very family oriented. Like my sister, she lives here. That's a part of the reason I came here. And she's married and has 4 kids. And so I FaceTime the kids every single day because they like call me, like they're like, Alexa, call Aunt Lacey. And then it like calls me and I'm like, oh my gosh. But they're like kind of like, obviously I don't have kids, so they're kind of like my own kids. But I'm goofy. I'm probably like a very weird person. I'm very put together, like on my social media and everything. But yeah, I'd say that I'm very like very focused on my family.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Netflix show?
Ooh, so I've literally probably watched every single one. So I'm literally now just rewatching stuff because I kid you not, like I'm up till like 2 a.m. Just like I'm sitting there like trying to do content on my phone, and I don't even have a TV in my place right now. So like I'm watching it on my computer. So I have it on my computer. So I literally am now rewatching Project Runway, which is like stupid, I know, but I
Classic.
actually enjoy it. I actually enjoy
it's a classic.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I like.
His name's Tim, right?
Yeah.
I used to watch it with my mom when I was younger. yeah.
I
She's have it on.
See, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's a classic.
Good. Yeah, I mean, but I've literally have watched every single Netflix series. Like, I'm not even kidding, because literally I'll watch it when I get home tonight, 2 a.m. I just have it like background.
Do you only use Netflix or you use like Hulu and all that stuff?
I have it all. I have
Okay.
Hulu, I have HBO, I have Disney, I have Amazon Prime.
Streaming service.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon Prime. I was gonna mention a movie, but
Saltburn?
you watched it? No. Did you?
You sure knew what you were talking about.
Oh my gosh, he hasn't watched it yet. But me and Albert or Bert, sorry, I had to correct it. Me and Bert were.
I was gonna come tackle you.
I know. He said. me.
Yeah, he goes by Bert.
Me and Bert.
Oh, okay.
Me and Bert were talking about it in the group chat, and I was like, bro, that was the weirdest movie like I've ever probably not I've ever seen, because I'm sure I've seen something worse, but just like in a long time. Like it was just.
Did you watch
additive.
Don't Leave the World Behind?
What?
Don't Leave the World. Is that what it's called? Don't Leave the World Behind.
On Leave the World Behind on Netflix?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, that movie made me
I
mad.
thought that movie was weird.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending.
The ending was trash.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Trash.
So like, I didn't really like the transitions of it
Yeah.
either. I didn't really like the. I felt like the acting could have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then the ending, and it was always just kind of like, what is going like? Because you don't really know what's going on.
No.
And then you're just like, what is going on?
But it did keep you locked in.
It did keep you locked.
But
in,
yeah, Saltburn, weird.
interesting.
And then like there's people that are like praising it, and there's people that are just like, it's just weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a good movie. But yeah, I was just curious if you've seen that, because you
Oh,
said
yeah.
Amazon Prime. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she's probably watched
You know,
that.
I've watched, I've
Yeah.
seen everything. I've been, actually I've been like casted for like one Netflix show, but it's not like what I would want.
Okay.
My brand, it's like too hot to handle.
Oh, I was about to say like a Love Island type deal.
Yeah,
Or
Love
like-
Island would be, I'd say, a little different.
Okay.
I'd say too hot to handle is like the concept is like basically whoever can not have sex, basically, and it's like that's easy. Like I would win that show and be like, I'm winning all the money, but it's apparently like people that are like so horny.
Yeah.
They have to like have sex all the time, and I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
my
yeah,
image.
no.
I just feel like it's like a. That shows like an egotistical show.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I look good. I know I look good. I can pull you. Let's
What's
go.
that one show where they like date in the room? You know, Love is Blind.
Blind,
Yeah,
yeah.
that show makes me so mad. And I'll watch it though. So dumb.
I know.
So dumb.
Yeah, we'll not do that one either. But,
Yeah. Cool.
Well, tonight you can watch the F1 show.
Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
Oh, Drive
Yeah,
to
the
Survive.
F1
Yeah.
show. Yeah, give it a chance.
I'll
Like
watch that.
watch the most recent season, I would say, just because it's relevant at least.
Yeah. Full Swing is the golf one. That's another dope one. Full Swing is really good.
watch that.
I like Full Swing. And then is Quarterback? Is that like a
Quarterback
Yeah,
is
watch that.
amazing.
You watched that one?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
really good.
That was good.
Is that going to be like a continued thing?
They
supposed to be,
they
but,
tried to get other quarterbacks on, but I think they asked Joe Burrow and some other people, but they were like, nah, I guess for the time being. But I mean, they had the original cast this is what really made me like Kirk Cousins a lot too, because it was Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Mariota, and I was just like, man, Kirk Cousins is so good, and he just like he loses those tough games, but he's just a dog. So I like how he is, like, you know, wears like Kohl's clothes. This very simple guy.
I
like,
know.
like
Family
so
oriented too.
oriented,
Like,
yeah.
oh, he just cares about his kids, just wants to be with his kids, and plays with them all. Like,
Exactly. So
And it's like he just doesn't even look like he's in the NFL. He just looks like a regular
No,
person.
just a regular person.
I know.
Yeah, just a guy.
I
So.
was at the game where Vikings game recently, where obviously Kirk Cousins is injured, but then he comes off and leads the school chant, and he like rips his shirt off. His son's like ripping his shirt off.
Yeah,
It's like, what on earth?
yeah. That was amazing. Cool.
I know you said you had some questions. I don't know if they were in here or not, but did you have any questions?
Yeah, actually.
Oh yeah.
As a woman in sports in a predominantly male industry, dealing with all the backlash, like what advice would you give to other women who are passionate about sports that want to get into sports? And, what would you tell them so that way they can get into sports?
That's a great question. Honestly, I love that question. For me, I have advice, and also kind of what I'm doing right now is I view it as hey, I will take all the backlash. I don't care if people hate on me. Like, I want to be that person that kind of steps into that, so that way the path is free for every other content creator to come and do it. That's like a big goal of mine, because I want it to be easier for the younger generation, the younger audience. And like, I have so many different young girls that I mentor that they're kind of like my own kids too. Man, I really don't need kids at this point. But as far as advice goes, I think it's just, don't take what people say to you behind a computer screen seriously at all, behind their phone. It's all just, it comes from a place of insecurity and jealousy at the end of the day. Like, someone is so low in their life and so hateful in their life that they feel the need to share that information. Like, it's an industry that it takes a lot of strength and courage and motivation to do, and that any woman can really do it if they just set their mind to it, and that they don't take information from the outside noise. Athletes deal with it. Really, anybody in sports, I think, like, obviously, like, women do too, but so do men. It's on both sides, but it's really just staying focused to who you are and knowing that you're a bad bitch and you're a queen and you're a boss, and that you can do it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You have anything else?
I guess, how do you have like a set bedtime or like schedule, or like are you always just, how do you manage that, going from having all these content ideas to film, and you're your whole team pretty much still? How do you manage that and still make time for yourself to be with your family, watch your shows as well, and do the things that you actually enjoy? Or, well, you enjoy sports, but like the things that you want to do in your leisure time.
Yeah. So I would say that right now I'm on a really bad schedule. Very, very, very bad. I'd say in general, though, kind of what I like to do is, so after the football season, I kind of just take time to more so chill to myself, which is kind of what I'm doing now. Like, I did all those games, regular season games. I had the Super Bowl to look forward to, but I don't plan to travel any weekends. So I'm kind of now just like trying to recover. I had COVID after the football season, then I got food poisoning. So I'm still just like, just trying to recover. But typically what I would do is, I'm someone that I kind of run my day as like a schedule. Like, so I wake up at the same time. So on an off season, I would wake up at not that early, because I love to stay up late. So we'll say like 9 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock until like 11, I'm running through ideas to make content. Like that's kind of my brainstorming hour. And then I work out, eat lunch, get ready, and then it's record time and editing time. And then I'll post something that evening. That's typically my schedule to what I do. And then that night, I'm also brainstorming ideas for the next day. But sometimes in that morning, some ideas roll in, because it's like, say it's like something new, like that's when like East Coast time will like break news on something, and I'm like, ooh, how can I do an idea on this? So right now, obviously, I don't have a schedule. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah, that's the content creator. Like, it's 24/7. Like,
Yeah.
there's really no true breaks, especially
Yeah.
when you're trying to like hustle and get to it the way you're doing it.
Yeah.
So no, that's I'm like always on Twitter, always like reading something, always adding notes. Like, especially with us doing all the other stuff we do outside of this. Like I mean, they're about to start shooting their UFC show called Double Knockout, and like I already know, like from the time they prep their notes, there's probably something that happened that they might want to add before they record. It's just ever changing. So I definitely get that.
Unfortunately, I mean, well, not unfortunately, but this one we're recording late because we typically are going to record it like in the middle of the week. But we had the holiday, then we had an event yesterday. We got this today. The fight's on Saturday, so we're recording tomorrow. But like, it'll be after everything's done. So like, the weigh-ins are happening tomorrow. The press conference happened today. Fight week happened today. You have all the embeddeds almost all the way out. Like, this will probably be the week where like there won't be like any quote unquote breaking news, because everything's already like done, and the fight day is like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for
Yeah.
it. Do your thing.
Has there anyone that you've ever been like starstruck by like that? You've interviewed a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
And like high caliber people.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you're like, oh my god, like I can't believe I'm actually like interviewing this person?
Yeah. Definitely a couple. I'd say one in particular, obviously like Shaq was really cool just because like he's Shaq, he's funny, he's goofy. I like to be pretty goofy in interviews, so like I like did a joke and he acted so serious, like he was like offended, and then he like joked about it, like he like made a joke right after, and I was like, my reaction was like priceless because I was like, I thought I like insulted him, but I didn't. Like it was funny. Seeing him was really, really cool, and interviewing him. I'd say another one would have been Barry Sanders, just because he's one of my favorite all-time, like he is my favorite NFL player ever. So like that was just insane for me. I was starstruck. I was like kind of like just all giddy. I like barely knew what to ask him because I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I mean, there's current like NFL players that are also really cool to interview, but kind of the ones that have been retired are the ones that I look at and I'm like,
The one you just like really grew up like as a
Yeah.
kid watching.
Yeah.
My uncle, rest in peace, he actually played with Barry at Oklahoma State.
oh, we did.
Yeah, so I have a signed autographed Barry Sanders jersey at my parents' house.
Sure, and cards.
Yeah,
He has
and
the signed rookie
and
card.
cards and all that.
Yeah,
so
they're roommates, right?
roommates and teammates. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
He
so
was,
that's what my goat as best running back ever in the NFL. So that's cool to hear that's like your
Yes,
favorite player.
it is. I loved how humble he is. That's
Yeah.
something that I like to like model
I saw
myself
something today
as.
on Twitter. Actually, it was like, if the Lions make the Super Bowl, they should sign Barry to a one-day contract.
No, for
and,
sure.
And let him go in one play if they win the Super Bowl. So like, let him get a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when I was just like starstruck, and he was still just was like so humble. I was like,
That's awesome.
Who do you want to interview that you haven't yet?
what?
Who do you want to interview that you haven't yet?
Oh wow, I think actually Travis Kelce. I would love to interview Travis Kelce. I think he's really fun. He has like a great personality. He can talk well. Kind of reminds me, one of my favorite interviews was with George Kittle, which is like a really funny, goofy guy.
He's goofy.
That is just so fun to interview. And him and I'd say CD Lamb was also really nice to interview because he's so nice. Like he's just like a genuine nice guy. Like I feel like some guys that you interview like really are just there because they have to be. Like it's like a slot interview. They have to be there.
Like a Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
But they're like
Yeah.
appreciative and like actually like enjoying the experience with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe you can interview Taylor Swift too.
Hey.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Are you a Swiftie?
Gotta look. You know, I personally like don't listen to her music.
Okay.
I do like two of her songs. I have so much respect for her though. What she's done is insane. I just personally listen to more like rap and like hip hop. So like my level of Taylor Swift would be like Nicki Minaj. Like when Nicki Minaj, her album came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything.
Yeah.
So
You going to her concert?
yes, I am. I'm going to go to one. Where is it? It was between two different places because Austin was sold out. So I couldn't go to the one in Austin, but I'm going to fly to, there's one in Brooklyn that's still available that I'm going to try to fly to.
That'd be dope.
So,
Yeah, she
I didn't even know
tour
she
very
was
much.
on tour,
Yeah,
to be honest.
she's coming to Austin.
Yeah, I know. Sold out like right away. And I was like, dang it. So,
Anything else?
yay. Well, thank you.
I mean, that's kind of it for me. Is that it for you?
Yeah, that was it for me. Thank you so much for, doing this. I know we had talked about it and I was
Yeah.
like, dang, like, I was like, she's busy. Let me see when she's free. And then you were like, oh, I have a pretty free month. I was like, I'm telling these guys, like, all right, we got to lock her in, like, get her to sit down and shoot. And we're also just trying to get more female guests on as well. Cause what you're doing is super unique and it's just super inspiring, not only for the females out there, but like for us, like just to see that you're able to, make content a full-time thing and, do something you're really passionate about. And it's easy for you to work, 6 to 11 every day because it's something you really love,
Yeah.
And striving to get to that point soon too on our end. But yeah,
You as well, for
really
sure.
really enjoy the convo. Like learned a lot, very insightful and very inspiring. And excited to see what you do in the future and continue to work with you as well and do some other cool stuff.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that too.
Before we hit this off, do you have any shout outs you want to give or anything for us or any questions you want to ask us?
Not particularly. No. Is that okay?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
No,
fine.
yeah. We just give the option to every guest because some people,
Yeah.
some guests are just like, oh, how did y'all get started? Or like,
Yeah.
why do y'all like
That deal.
they just like us, just curious and like
Yeah.
ask questions. So I just give the opportunity to every guest. Like, shout out to you want to give anything for us before we hit it off. So no, if you don't, that's all. That's fine.
Yeah. No, I definitely like would love to like do something with you guys in the future.
Yes.
In any sort of way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. We're trying to like figure out ways to like besides the podcast, do other ways to like do other content, you know, short form or just different ideas, documenting. And then we gave you the hat too, like so maybe some like merch shoots and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Just different things. And we talk about it all the time. We don't want like the people we meet, the relationship to be like transactional. Like you
Yeah.
meet somebody, and I'm sure you already know how it is. You meet somebody, you talk to them, then y'all work together and that's it. It's like a one-time thing, but it's like you continue to grow together. Like that's what makes it special too, unique. So yeah.
Like he said, I mean, I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited to see where you go. It was a pleasure talking to you. Again, thank you for taking time out your day. You have a busy life, as we just heard. So it does mean a lot just for you to take 2 hours out of your day and just come talk to us and hang out with us. So won't be the last time. I mean, we're all local. We're all Austin based. So there's other content that we have planned in the future that we want to do. We've shot it before, so I can say, but like the tailgate series, maybe you can come on with the tailgate series with us.
Yeah.
Our goal is to go to just different tailgates around the nation because we're big college football fans. It's the best sport. There's no debate. No debate. It's the best sport, but it's to go to just not every college, but like just big environments.
Yeah, like iconic
Go to like
games.
a Auburn, Alabama game. Go to a tailgate there and like interview fans
Yeah.
and like ask them questions and
And
whatnot.
statewide out.
Yeah. We actually did one like
We
2
did
years
two,
ago.
yeah.
We did two technically, but we did one here when Texas played Bama here, and then I did one with some of the other guys when Texas played at Texas Tech. My little brother goes to Tech.
Oh,
So yeah, I did those. But fun experiences. If we can get a sponsor or something, that would be great to make it like more logistical. Get this guy here to help us out and stuff. So
So that's one of the plans. And when we do a Texas one here, you can come with us.
Yeah.
And have fun. So again, I know I keep saying it, but thank you. I appreciate it. They can find you everywhere at
Lacey Jane Brown.
Lacey Jane Brown on all platforms.
All platforms.
I'll have it all plugged in anyways, but all platforms, Lacey Jane Brown. Go give her a shout. Go give her a follow. She's family. Y'all know how we get down. But that'll do it for my boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
peace.